Actor Richard Hatch starred in such TV shows as The Streets of San Francisco and both versions of Battlestar Galactica. He recently came to Cincinnati to teach an acting seminar.
I'd always loved mentoring people, coaching people. Always was something that I had a proclivity for. And so, I've ended up basically getting invited around the country. I just got invited to come here to Ohio to do a one-day workshop. Normally I do two because I like to have more time to work with the students. I'm not one of those guys that teaches a superficial approach to acting. Mine's a much deeper, more complex, more, provocative approach to acting, which for me is, I don't care how you get to the truth of the scene, you've got to find a way to get there. And I help each actor find those techniques, find those processes that will lead them to connecting the material in a more powerful way. And also the way I teach life skills. I mean, really, acting is a metaphor for life. So I really teach people communication. I teach them to deal with the fears and insecurities that stop people from doing everything that they want to do in life. And people don't realize that there's a way through all that. They somehow think that the people that are successful in movies don't have any fear. Not true. Actors learn how to deal with it. I mean, listen, we're always facing rejection every 5 seconds. Most people have 8 to 5 jobs and they work one job for many, many years. Most people. Actors are out of a job every 5 minutes, no matter how good they are. And they're always having to go up against hundreds of other actors, thousands of other actors to get the next job. They're always dealing with rejection, always dealing with fear, always dealing with insecurity. So if you survive long enough in this business, you learn some things about life, and you gain some wisdom, and I think you learn how to take it in stride. Scenes are never about what the words say. So often you never talk about what's really going on in the scene or what you're really feeling. A scene could be about characters talking about bowling, or cooking, and yet it's a love scene. It's a seduction scene. Or it could be a scene where one character is breaking up with the other, and yet the dialogue doesn't lead in that direction. The important part of a scene is the subtext. The subtext is the tree trunk of the scene. That's what the scene's really about. In movies, how often do we ever really say what we want to say? And the movie is all about characters miscommunicating, fighting, arguing, challenging each other, whether it's comedic or whether it's serial comedic or dramatic. Characters are all about miscommunicating until finally they've been banging each other's heads and they get to that one scene where they get into it, and finally, after all of the stuff is done, they finally get to that moment where they can say, okay, I love you. They couldn't say that the whole movie, but they finally get to that moment of truth where they say what they feel, right? Well, in life, as in movies, we rarely say what we really feel. We really cop or embrace what we really feel. So, again, actors have to not look at the logic of the scene. They have to really intuit into what's really going on between these two characters. What's the scene really about? And then make choices. Choices are what you choose to believe is true, okay? About the character, about the circumstance, about where you are, about what's going on, about who you are, what my relationship is to you, where I came from, where I'm going after this scene. These are all choices that I have to make, that I have to find a way to connect to as if they were true. There's the art of the actor, is some people have great imaginations, and just by imagining those choices as being true, it affects them on an organic level. But most people's imaginations are not very well developed. Most people, if they said, okay, it's sub-zero right now in the room, they go, okay, nothing changes. Or they act like it's cold. They can't really make a choice. What if it was 10 degrees below zero? Our body has a memory of everything. We've all been in the cold, we've been in freezers, we've been here, we've done this, we've done that. We got a collective memory of a lot of things, and it's like a hard drive that you access memories from. And just by letting your imagination move into a what if this was true? What if this premise was true? What if it was 10 degrees below zero? What if this was my girlfriend, the love of my life, and she's leaving on the train in 5 minutes and I'm never going to see her again? How do I feel about that? And connecting to that. Again, it's building up that ability to use your imagination. It's also building up the ability to pull down the walls and that keep most people from dealing with their emotions and feelings. I mean, most people usually don't want to feel what they feel, right? Actors have to be more accessible to letting material affect them on a deeper level. So you got to allow yourself to be more vulnerable. It doesn't mean you got to be crying and falling apart, but it just means, listen, how many people go into a movie theater, the lights come down, and they've never cried in their life, and they're bawling in the movie because no one's around and no one's watching it, and they give themselves a moment to feel, right? That's why people go to movies. You're feeling all these emotions, you're identifying with the character. Well, that's what an actor does, but on purpose, you see? Learning how to do that is the art of the actor.
Framelines is brought to you in part by Backyard HD, Tape Central, Production Partners Media, and grants from the Greater Columbus Arts Council.